Hi folks, welcome to a new week. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend and that you're looking forward to the week. It's going well for me so far. I cut my finger last night on a chopping knife, which was not really great, but apart from that, all well and good. It's making it hard to type, which is annoying because I love writing, but anyway, I'm marking and doing all the other fun stuff that I normally do, but hey, we're getting on with it here. I'm finding a way around things, and it's not that bad, to be honest with you. Getting on with it. If you like what I do, the subscribe button is down below. The Patreon button is also down below. And if you're getting any models over the next few weeks, make sure you go to Composite Games, give them your love, give them your custom, and use the promo code Northern Exile down below to get yourself 5% off at checkout. Especially handy on the run-up to 10th edition. I think you will agree. Anyway, Hobby Nightmares time. Let's jump into it, shall we? Because we've got quite a bit to go through today. First of all, it's Bob, and some of these names sound a bit weird. That's because if they ask me to change them, then, you know, I change them to something normal, like Bob, for instance. Bob says, hey North, no names for this one, please. Okay, yeah. I've heard a lot of heavy stuff on the channel lately, so I wanted to give you something short and funny. Okay, we're going to need this because our second story is a heavy one. Let's get into it. Here's how I caused a mini nightmare for a friend of mine. I was a red shirt at Games Workshop at the time, and we got a new manager. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, a red shirt at Games Workshop is essentially a normal staff member. The red shirt was phased out quite a few years ago now, and these days we have a blue shirt. At least I had a blue shirt. A blue shirt that was then. I will remember the day I got my. I will remember the day I got my black manager's shirt forever. Like, that's gonna be ingrained in my head forever, like, that moment. But like, anyway, yeah, you get a black manager jumper, but you got a blue shirt for your Games Workshop, working at Games Workshop-y stuff. Anyway, one of this new manager's goals was to sort out the stockroom. This pretty big room had turned into a small path from one door to the cupboard of blisters, cliffs of stock and bric-a-brac on both sides. Another one of the red shirt homies and I got the Herculean honour of doing this task. One side wall of said stockroom, about 12 metres long, was filled with those old army cases, floor to ceiling, all completely filled with minis our predecessors had painted for the store, and everything had to go. Wow. You know what I say to people like Games Workshop don't really value their own stock? Yeah. We gotta throw all this out. 19 armies or 20 armies, we just gotta throw them out. We were allowed to take some stuff within reason for factions we already had, but it mostly consisted of me holding open a huge bin bag and my colleague uptoning foam tray after foam tray into it. Yeah, why not? Why not? Then we hit it. A beautiful, classic, fully painted Lord of Change. Oh wow, that's the demon prince of Tzeentch. We planned a little stunt, and I ended up throwing the greater demon across the stockroom where my mate shattered it, baseball style, with a heavy cardboard tube. Why? Showering me with bits of lovely painted pewter. All fun and games. Wow. Wow. You could have given that to anybody, dude. You know? That evening, I regaled this tale to one of my lifelong hobby friends. He slumps a little, raises his hand, and moans, "Dude, why didn't you take it? I play Tzeentch, don't you remember?" Whoops, I guess I forgot about that. Oh my god. If I was your friend, I would be going mental. Absolutely mental, because they're worth a bomb. The pewter ones are worth a bomb. My lord. Anyway, fun and games over with. It's time for the serious story. This one's going to be a bit longer, to be honest with you. This is why I've taken it upon myself to give you a nice light one before we head into the mire. If you remember Pirate King, this is very similar to that, but a lot shorter. So it's not going to be like an hour and a half video. It's a lot shorter. But anyway, I'm going to read it, give my thoughts on it. I've been told not to read it until I got onto the video because it's very, very... will make me angry part of the way through, and I know a lot of people like to hear my honest reactions to things, so here we go. Alright. Hey North. For the sake of privacy, You can call me Verbal, okay? I have been watching your videos for a couple of years now. They have become a great source of escapism for me, and have helped me through some hard times. Thank you. No worries, man. I mean, no worries. It's my pleasure, and it's the reason the channel exists. So thank you for telling me that we're doing our job over here. Anyway, I have a story for you. Don't know if you would class it as a hobby nightmare, but it is a tale of how I became a shell of the person I once was. How this led to me having no interest in anything around me, and how it ended up with me losing the hobby from my life in 2 different ways. Well, I'm telling you now, we're going to solve the hobby bit at the end of this, no matter what we go through here. I was inspired to send this in by listening to Pirate King's story. Whilst I can't claim to have gone through half as much as he has, some of what he has said sounded quite familiar to me. Yeah, Pirate King's become a bit of a celebrity on the channel, to say the least. Even on the Discord as well, and we do exchange emails every week, which is nice. In fact, I have to get back to him because I read his email on Friday, but I haven't gotten back to him yet. So, Pirate King, if you're watching this, I will get back to you today, mate. All right, just give me a minute. I started to get involved in the hobby in the mid-90s. My brother started collecting epic Space Marines, and playing a few games with him got me hooked. I quickly moved onto the 40k and Warhammer Fantasy side of the hobby, and moved away from Epic, spending all of my pocket money and spare time buying, building and painting models. I became almost obsessed. The hobby remained a big part of my life as I grew older. I used it as a way to meet people, and it helped me to develop a group of really close friends. Through my turbulent teenage years, it remained a constant in my life and gave me something to focus on when times were hard. That's what it's here for, man. That's what it's here for. This is a beautifully written story, by the way, so far. Like, all the spelling, all the grammar's perfect. Kudos to you. Now, let's continue. On to the nightmare part of this tale. I felt that it might be important to tell my story, as it could be a warning to those going through, or who are at risk of going through, the same thing. For a bit of a background, I had a fairly turbulent upbringing. Nothing too bad, but it ended up leaving me homeless by the age of 16, and caused me to hold on to some trauma into my adult life. Dude, being homeless at 16 isn't something that's not too bad. That's tragic. That's insane. You know, a lot of people who go through real trauma, right? Not breakups or anything like that, but the real stuff. The hard stuff. They don't look at it as a big deal. Even though it definitely is. Right? Being homeless at 16 is a life-changing negative thing. Okay, you're at the centre of your formative years. You've been taught by your parents up until this point, yes, but I believe the ages of 14 to 20 are the most important years for forming who you're going to be going forwards, right? And if in the middle of that you are homeless, yeah, that's not great. Anyway, something that I wouldn't fully understand until earlier this year. The importance of this information will become clear later on. Despite the difficulties I had growing up, I was a fairly outgoing person. I made friends quite easily, and had an active social life. However, I was prone to bouts of depression and anxiety that sometimes caused me to withdraw from the people around me. Nothing wrong with that, dude. Happens to the best of us. These episodes made it difficult for me to develop long-term relationships with any girlfriends, as I could be difficult to be around when going through with them. Yeah, I know, man. Like, that's something that I've done as well, especially with the opposite sex. Okay, when you just want to be left alone, that you don't want to burden people with what's going on with your brain, right? You just want to go away and be on your own. Do you know what I'm saying? You just want to go away, be on your own, and not be, shall we say, how do I put it? Not be a burden to anybody. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, moving on. This changed, however, in 2006, when I met my future wife, Steph. She was amazing. Kind, funny, beautiful, everything I could ever want in a partner. I felt I could be myself fully with her. I had a few minor relapses into mild depression over the first couple of years of our relationship, but Steph took it in her stride, being there to support me and to listen when I needed to talk about the random things in my head. Everything between us was great. The depression would come and go, and we were making great memories just being happy together. Well, that's great. It's really good when the depression's still there. It's a danger sign if you meet somebody and the depression just goes. That's a danger sign. And that doesn't seem like it, but it is. Because it means when that person goes, you're now reliant on that person to keep the depression away. And that's never going to be a sustainable, way to live. So if you're with somebody and the depression becomes easier to handle, even though it's still there, that's a good one. That's a good sign. Alright. I had a few minor relapses into mild depression over the first couple of years of our relationship, but Steph took it in her stride, being there to support me and just to listen to when I needed to talk about the random things in my head. Fair enough. Everything between us was great. I think we've already covered that bit, yeah. The depression would come and go, but we were making great memories just being happy together. Steph would actively encourage me to keep doing hobby things. Good girl. Whether that was meeting friends for games or spending time at home painting. She wasn't involved in the hobby herself, but she understood the importance it had in my life and keeping me on the straight and narrow. It felt like I had met my perfect partner, someone who just got me, and for the first time in a very long time, I felt loved and safe. I almost don't want to read on here. I almost don't want to read on here. I almost just want to say, and then that's what happened. And we lived happily ever after, and we don't have any other worries. But it's called Hobby Nightmares for a reason, so let's carry on, shall we? Let's try and learn some lessons together. As I have since learned, there were warning signs to future problems, even in what seemed like good times. Unfortunately, it would take me until earlier this year to discover this, and a lot would happen before then. I know a lot of this stuff will make you frustrated, as it is inconceivable as to how any person in their right mind would put up with this, but please read to the end, as there is an explanation, and as I said, hopefully there is a warning to others. Okay, I'm going to try not to jump in when I'm furious until the end, right? I'm going to trust you here. But if it gets too bad, just forgive me. I might have to just explode. Alright, let's delve in, shall we? About 3 years into our relationship, things changed. I had my first severe bout of depression and anxiety. I started to withdraw from social activities and stopped contacting friends and some family members. I became difficult to live with and pushed Steph away. I pushed her away so much that she went off with another guy. She said that it was because she felt lonely and neglected. I could kind of understand that and took some of the blame on myself. I really want to say something here. However, that didn't stop me from enduring the relationship. That didn't stop me from ending the relationship. Good. Okay. All right. I don't need to say anything. Okay. Cool. That didn't stop me from ending the relationship. So she had her reasons, according to you, but you still split up with her. Okay. We were apart for a few months. Oh no. During which time she continued to see the guy she cheated with. Something I didn't find out until much later. Well, dude, what do you expect her to do? Right? If she's cheated on you, and you've walked away from the relationship, that's cool, that's grand, that would be my advice, right? But her life is then her own, right? This is the same thing. There's a guy, I was speaking to a guy the other day, I'm not gonna name names, but he was talking to me about, on another thing, right? He was talking, this doesn't count as me stepping in because I'm angry, by the way, this is me explaining something. A friend of mine, and he said, he wants to have a threesome with his woman and another woman, right? That's hard to do, especially for like mere mortals, right? Unless you're really good with the ladies, and he's okay with the ladies, but he's not that good, right? So I suggested, well, maybe go to a swingers club or something like that if you really want to go and have a threesome. But here's the thing, dude. Right, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you want to have a threesome with your woman, right, and another woman, you have to be okay with her sleeping with another dude, or that's just hypocrisy. I know, right? There are evolutionary tapers in your mind telling you that you don't want your woman to be shagged by anyone else. I know that, right? But it doesn't change the fact that it's a hypocrisy if you don't step in and say, hey, you can go and do that, and I'll go do this, right? The reverse psychology is, and I'm going to spoil this for a lot of men out there, so if you are a woman, please stop listening to this now. I'm going to give away a few secrets. The thing is, and I've said this before, the more you say to a woman, okay, you go do that with that guy, and I'm going to go do this with this girl. They won't. They won't. Because immediately you have a lot more worth as a man. Because you're able to say, listen, I don't care about that. The one thing you have over me is sex. I'm taking that away from you. So you can go do whatever you want with anyone else, and I'll go do whatever I want with anyone else. Right? And we'll still be together because I really love you and I really want to be with you. But, like, you know, I want some side action, and it wouldn't be right for me to expect side action and for you not to get side action, right? You say that to a woman and she stays with you, she will not go off with anyone else, I'm telling you. Unless she's that way inclined, of course. But if she's not going to go off with anyone else. Right? The most, and there's a lot of women in the comment section will be saying, I wouldn't put up with it. Yeah, you would. Yes, you would. If you loved a guy and he had complete righteous self-confidence, not arrogance, but righteous confidence in who and what he is, and he says, listen, we've been together a long time, I need some side action, but I'm not a hypocrite. If you want that, you go off and get it, I'm going to go off and get it, right? And if you didn't split up with him, right, you wouldn't go off and get it yourself. You just wouldn't. Because your guy now has a load of worth to you. And that he's able to go and get other women. He's able to go and do this. He's taking away that power. That's really, 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 really toxic. But it doesn't change the fact that that's how it fucking works, right? I'm not saying it's not toxic. And that's not what I'm saying, right? If you can avoid doing that, don't do it. Because you're liable to break her brain into a million pieces. But I'm telling you now, if you give the woman the option, she won't take it. She won't take it. Right? If she's a good girl, if she's a normal woman, she won't take it. No way. She will not take it. It harkens back to, men control access to relationships, women control access to sex. By and large, right? Doesn't always go that way, but by and large, Women control access to sex, quite rightly so, because, they're weaker physically, so they need to be able to, society needs to be able to give them that prerogative, right? And we control access to relationships, because our time is precious. Right? Our time is precious. A man's time is precious. And we control access to that time. That's how it works, okay? But if you take away that power, and you say, listen, I don't care about your access to sex, you go have it with somebody else. Ooh, that's a mind fuck. She's never going to go anywhere else, because you're living rent-free in her head at that point. Okay? Unless she's into that. Some women are, but mostly, I'm telling you now, they won't go anywhere. So, if you've ever been in that situation, that's my advice. Getting back to the video, sorry, that was a tangent and a half. Yeah, but it links back into the video in that, verbal, you seem to be expecting the Steph to not go off with somebody else that she was already cheating on you with. Like, you did the right thing in splitting up with her. And now you're like, oh, well, I was hurt because she went off with somebody else. Well, she was already going off with somebody else, dude. You made the right decision. You made the man call and you walked away. Let's see if you stayed walked away, because that was the right thing. The right thing to do here is to stay walked away. To stay away and rebuild your life, right? Okay. So, Steph kept contacting me, of course she did, to check if I was okay and apologise. And after a while, we got back together. I know I was a fool for doing that, and believe me, it gets worse. There are reasons it happened, though. Not excuses, but reasons. No problem, man, no problem. This will become clearer towards the end of the story. A couple more years passed. See, so you guys treated that as a blip, okay. A couple more years passed. I never truly felt like I was being back to myself, though. I was a lot more introverted, wasn't going out as much, lost touch with most of my friends, and stopped doing any hobby activities. Wow. I didn't even pick up a paintbrush for years. Even though I didn't feel like myself, I was happy to have Steph back. Having her there felt comfortable and safe. That was another big red flag I missed because I didn't understand it. Yeah, you're becoming codependent. Yeah, that void in yourself is being filled up with this person who's already proved that they don't have loyalty to you. This is a recipe for disaster. Another serious bout of depression hit me, and the same thing happened. Yeah, here we go. I pushed Steph away, and she went off again with the same guy. Fuck. I don't want to laugh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. But fuck, dude. Seriously, exactly the same thing happened again. She apologised and tried to explain why. Fuck off. Fuck off. Get in the sea. Get her out. She apologised and tried to explain why, and I took the blame on myself again. Dude, you fucking did it. We broke up again. This time for longer. Oh, for longer this time. Hooray. For a little bit longer. Great. After a while, I started to feel a bit more like my old self. No shit. No shit. You're lying on yourself now. He's seen the light. Awesome. You're dude, this is great. You've seen the light. You're relying on yourself, and you're getting back to your old self because you're not codependent on this fucking charlatan anymore. Excellent. I tried to go out more and keep myself busy. Good lad. Strong. Good. Brilliant. Feel the pain. Acknowledge it. Cry your heart out. And then get to the fucking gym. Good on you, lad. Brilliant. I even met a new girl. Brilliant. Fantastic. It's like goal after goal. It's brilliant. It's like Everton versus Brighton the other night. Just goal after goal after. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I even met a new girl after about 6 months. And we started dating. Dude. How that ended is a source of constant shame and regret for me. Don't do this, please. I just walked away without giving her a reason or explanation. Dude, I sometimes wonder how different my life would have been if I hadn't. But you will see later my actions weren't totally under my control. Okay. Dude, if you're saying that this girl's controlling your brain or whatever. Steph appeared in my life again nearly a year after we had split up. She used my brother to get back in touch with me, and we ended up back together. Only this time, it wasn't just her. She had a kid in tow. While we had been apart, she'd had another guy's kid. Not just any other guy, the same guy she had cheated with. Of course, he didn't want anything to do with the kid, so I took him on and raised him as my own. What are you doing? She's made a bed, let her sleep. What are you doing? Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. I don't have a whole load of time left, so I'm gonna shut up now. Alright? Alright. Things seemed to get back to what I called normal between me and Steph. My depression seemed to stay away. Having a child to focus on helped with that. I had to be strong for them. I'm just going to make a noise every time I want to say something now. I hadn't got back into the hobby. I was too busy with other things. All my energy and time were focused on Steph and the kid. 3 years later, we got married. Ah! Why? Why? It's like I'm stepping on Lego. What are you doing? 3 years later, we got married, and things continued to be good between us, or so I thought. Bring on 2018. I wonder what's going to happen next. A total of 12 years since I met Steph, and so much has already happened. It couldn't get worse, could it? Of course it could. Why are you doing this to me, Verbal? Why? I was having a lovely day, and oh no. Okay, early 2018, Steph dropped a huge bombshell. She told me she had been talking to other guys online for nearly 6 months. Not only that, she had become involved with what she called a different lifestyle, a BDSM lifestyle, and was in the sub-dom relationship with another guy. Oh, it gets better. She was meeting up with this guy for what she called play sessions, not at his house, oh no, but at ours, doing whatever in our own home, even in our bed. Dude, like, fucking walk away. Pick the kid up and hit her with it. Hit her with it. This is yours, not mine. Bye. Goodbye, and leave. But you married her, and now do you know what? You're going to be on the hook to pay for a kid that's not fucking yours, because you didn't sit back and think, or you didn't have... Guys, if you know anybody who could be in this situation, and you're a normal guy, it's up to you to grab him by the lapels and tell him what he needs to do. Don't ask him, don't give him some advice, tell him what's going to happen next. Right? Or they're going to end up in situations like this. Fuck my life. Steph tried to say that it didn't have to affect our relationship. Oh, fuck this fucking... And as if it was a different part of her life and something she needed to explore. I wasn't accepting that, good, but instead of doing what any sane man would do and running far, far away, I just told her she would have to choose between that life and our marriage. Initially, she said she didn't know, but eventually picked me. Fuck off. I'm shutting up, sorry. We started to work through things together, but never got any sort of relationship counselling, as Steph was totally against it. Yeah, no, you know why she's against it? Because she knows any therapist will take one look at this and go, what a cunt. What a cunt. You're in the wrong, right? Any sane one. Again, there are some insane ones out there who will take the woman's side, but most of them will not outwardly say it, but they will be like, yeah, you've got issues, love. We need to work on you at this moment in time. And she doesn't want to do that because she's a narcissist, right? Me. You look after my kid, you sort out my life, and I'll have absolutely no loyalty to you because I consider you my little toy, my little kickstand, right? Get in the fucking sea. Hope you drown. In the end, after many talks about what needed to happen, we seem to have got back on track. Oh, fucking hell, dude, come on. Somehow, though, I ended up taking most of the blame again. Something I've learned since that I have been conditioned to do. The relationship continued on, but I wasn't really happy. No shit! I needed something to focus on away from the marriage, and I started to paint again. The enjoyment was still there, and I ended up throwing myself back into painting models and reading the law. I wasn't playing any games, and I had lost my friends. And with the time pressure of family life, that isn't even yours, I didn't feel like I had the time to meet up with the new friends I had the few friends I had left. Okay. Alright. Halfway through 2019, something clicked in me. I needed to do something for me, to have something to focus on, so I took the plunge and did something I had thought about many, many years before. I drew up a business plan, got a startup loan, quit my job, and set up my own hobby store. Dude, as much as I love you for this is a stressful thing you're doing now. I know a lot of hobby store managers, and a lot of them are going, oh, you know, they're literally making that noise listening to this video right now, with all the other things going on in your life, and what you're taking on, okay? I hope it goes well. Let's read on. It was great. It was mine. Isn't it nice when something's yours? Unlike your kid. And moving on. I had something that I could use to get away from the stresses of my home life. And it was moderately successful. Within a few months, I had reached a break-even point and was starting to turn a small profit. Dude, that's the shit that. You've done really well there. Breaking even in a hobby store is good. Making a profit, you're doing well. When COVID hit and the business fell apart. Being unable to open the shop meant having to trade online, and it was nearly impossible to compete with the big boys. So I had to wind the business up before any debts got out of control. I was gutted. I started to spiral back into my depression and just felt worthless and useless. I did a few different jobs after that, never being able to settle anywhere. Mine and Steph's relationship continued, and I just drifted through life. Things came to a head over the last 18 months. My mum was diagnosed with terminal cancer and passed away last March. Steph became more difficult to live with, becoming really paranoid to the point where she puts cameras in our home to film me because she didn't trust me, and I was struggling to see where I was going or what the point in life was. This fucking hypocrite. Okay. Right. We had a group of really bad people in Pirate King's videos. Steph, this is the worst person I have ever read about on this channel. We've had bad groups. This is the worst person I've ever read about. Right? Think of all... And verbal. Think of all the shitheads I've read about on this channel. Your missus is the worst. If you're still with her, that should be the wake-up call you need, hopefully. Right? I don't know you, but that's the wake-up... Hopefully that's the wake-up call that you need. I had become a shell. A shell, sorry. That's me being stupid. I had become a shell. Totally empty. Eventually, I broke down. Just totally exhausted. Mentally and physically. I was signed off of work and was at rock bottom. This is when things started to change for me, though. My employer paid me to go to counselling and to get some therapy Dude, it seems like your employer is the first person to look at you and go, I know what this guy needs. And has stepped in and sorted you out. Right? Get some therapy, and over the last few months, everything I had gone through became much clearer. The root cause of my problems, and how it all happened, has been explained to me. Yeah, do you know why? This is why she didn't want to go to fucking counselling. Because she would have gotten a dose of truth. And she doesn't want truth. She's a narcissist, and a user, and a hypocrite. I'm sure you all know what the main cause of my problems were. Steph and the relationship. Yeah, no shit. It's obvious. How could I have not known this from the start? How could I have let this take away from my friends, family, enjoyment of life, and the potential of finding someone else to spend my life with? I'll tell you why, man. I'll tell you why. Because at heart, right, you are a caring, decent person. Right? Who has gone through some shit. You were homeless when you were 16. You've gone through some serious shit. And you refuse to let anybody else go through that. And for you, pain is normal because you've been brought up with pain. And so when you get pain later on in life, you just shrug and go, well, this must be my fault somehow. I'll just get on with it, right? But when other people are going through pain, you refuse to let them. You go and you rescue them, you help them. Even when they don't fucking deserve it. And this Steph is the case in point of a narcissist, freak of nature, seeing somebody as beautiful as that, inside and out, and taking full advantage. That's what this is. The obvious answer is that I am a weak doormat who needs to grow a pair. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I've already explained why there are some mitigating circumstances here, okay? And in some respects, you would be right. However, it's not just as simple as that. I will explain why and show you how easy it can be for anybody to fall into this trap, okay? This should be a doozy. So, through therapy, I have discovered that I unfortunately ended up in a relationship that is known as a vulnerable narcissist. Ha ha! Yes! Just give me that psychologist degree already. Come on. So, through therapy, I have discovered that I unfortunately ended up in a relationship with what is known as a vulnerable narcissist. Much less overt than a classic narcissist, so harder to see, but equally as dangerous. Every aspect of our relationship was carefully orchestrated to achieve Steph's end goal, which was the same as all narcissists, to break down their target and get them under their control so they can be used to benefit the narcissist in any way that they need. In the beginning of the relationship, the support and love provided by Steph wasn't real. It was used as manipulation. As soon as she felt ready, she pulled all those things away and replaced them with degradation and pain instead. This is done slowly, covertly, through the use of gaslighting, trauma bonding, breadcrumbing, cognitive dissonance, and other forms of emotional manipulation. Look at you throwing all of the buzzwords out there. Somebody's been to therapy, good lad. From the outside, it is clear what is going on, which is why narcissists aim to isolate their targets from their friends and family. But while you are in these situations, it is almost impossible to see as you're kept in a permanent state of confusion. Dude, you've explained that so well. You should get a career in psychology. Like, you've explained that. Hook, line, and sinker. Bang, bang, bang. So well. Brilliant stuff. Okay. Through the use of emotional abuse and manipulation, it gets to the stage where the victim believes they are to blame for everything. With me, that manifested into taking the blame for Steph cheating and everything else that went wrong. You get to the stage where everything you do or say is controlled by the narcissist. They have conditioned you over time to think and feel the way they want you to. You eventually lose your identity, sense of self, and your self-worth. Hey, Pirate King, is this familiar? Yeah? The reason it got so bad with Pirate King, right, is because he had no one else. He only had this woman. Right? Yeah, that's why that story was double the length of probably this one. Because it was so bad. He was isolated on his own already. So it was so much easier for that narcissist to take control of him and to ruin his life. Whereas Buddy Al Verbal's been through it as well. Let's be honest. I'm sure some of you want to know why I went back to this hell when I had gotten out of the relationship. Seems to make no sense when it was obviously so broken, and you would be right. It doesn't make any sense. Sense doesn't come into it though. If you ever find the strength to leave a narcissist, they will eventually come back and suck you back into the relationship. This will show glimpses of they will show glimpses of the ideal relationship they once showed you in the beginning, and unless you have some kind of therapy to repair the damage caused by the emotional abuse, manipulation and trauma bonding you have been through, you will be unable to resist the temptation to take them back in the hope of the relationship will be like the ideal one. All the hurt and pain they have caused you is forgotten in that moment. It sounds stupid, but the level of control a narcissist has over their victim is huge. This is what I meant when I said I wasn't totally in control of my actions when I left the other relationship I was in. The human mind is a funny thing, and if someone can find a way inside of yours and knows what they are doing, they can control you almost completely. My therapist explained to me that a narcissist uses similar tactics and techniques to control as cults do. We probably have all seen these crazy religious cults and wondered why anybody is following a person in charge when it all sounds so mad. Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that. The problem is the same as in a narcissistic relationship. Those on the inside can't see it. The biggest example my therapist could give me was that of Nazi Germany. Okay, it seems crazy how the whole country was taken in by a short, black-haired, brown-eyed man who tried to convince them that the master race should be tall, with blonde hair and blue eyes. How could he be in charge then if he himself didn't even belong to the so-called master race? The majority of the German population followed him though, at least to begin with. Whilst it is a much smaller scale, narcissists control, coerce, and force behaviours in similar ways. So, like I said, hopefully, this is a warning to those in or at risk of getting into similar situations. If anything I put here sounds familiar, or even if something just doesn't feel right, like you seem to have lost your sense of self, talk to a counsellor or a therapist so they can explore with you and see if this is what you are going through. It sounds like a bizarre story, I know, but I can assure you it is a lot more common than people realise, and can happen to anyone. Anybody who has attachment or abandonment issues from childhood, which you definitely do by the way, mate, are particularly vulnerable, as they can become desperate to hold on to anything that might resemble love. Which is why knowing about the basics of my upbringing was important. Yeah, and we know about the basics of Pirate King's upbringing as well. Very similar. Right? These are the people that these people go for, right? Happens with men as well. Men will do it to women as well. This isn't a male, female, male thing, right? Anyway, let's wrap this up. Where am I at now? Well, things haven't really changed too much. I am still with Steph. I know. What am I doing, right? I know what she is and what she's done. I should be long gone. For me, it's not that simple. There are kids involved. No, there aren't! No, there aren't! It's not yours! Go! Leave! Move! Run away! Go! I know that couples should never stay together just for the kids. However, I can't just leave kids with a narcissistic mother. They are master manipulators and don't care who they damage to achieve control over people. I need to be around for as long as I can to protect them. I'm not totally stupid though, not since I've had my eyes opened to what I'm dealing with. So, I am continuing in therapy to learn how to deflect and counteract Steph's tactics so they don't affect me as much. I'm rebuilding my self-confidence and doing things for me. I even played a game last week. It was Conquest, not 40k, but was great to play again. Hopefully, we'll get more games in when I find more opponents. I have also started to save some money for when I inevitably can't take the rubbish anymore and have to move out. On the road to recovery now and feeling so much better. Just wish I hadn't wasted so much of my life, nearly 20 years, and missed other opportunities that were given to me. Well, there's not much else to say. This is a stripped down version of the relationship. If I had gone into details of all the manipulation and tactics that Steph used, we would have been here for a week. If anybody listening wants to know more about how these narcissists work, there are some great videos on YouTube about it. And don't forget, both men and women can be abusers or victims. Exactly, yeah. No gender is immune. I'm glad I found this channel when I did, as it helped me through the darkest time of my life, and was also a catalyst for reigniting my love for the hobby. Thanks for all you do. Keep up the good work, Verbal. Brilliant, mate. Okay. The reason why I rushed through the second half of that, because I wanted you to say it in your own words, and you were on a roll. Number two, I wanted to have some time to speak at the end, just to myself, like 10, 15 minutes just to myself, right? So, all right, I'm going to give you some advice now, man. Here we go. I don't know whether you've had any more kids with this person, but if there's only the one kid involved, okay, you need to get that kid away from this woman, all right? If you can. This is a fucking shit show, and if you can't, dude, I'm just gonna say this, right? I'm just gonna say what I would do in this situation, okay? If I felt like I had to stay in the situation for the sake of the kid, right? I am no longer with Steph. I am no longer with her. We are not in a relationship. We are not in a civil partnership. We are not anything. I am the living father to your child. Every other thing in my life is mine. Every other person in my life is mine. Every other thing going on in my life is mine. Okay? That's what I'm doing now. I will fuck and sleep with whoever I want. And if I want to bring them back here and do it on the couch, that's what I'll do. Right? I am single. I'm on my own. I will help you out. I will help out your kid, who's not mine, but who cares, right? I will help out your kid, but my life is now my own. It is completely separate from yours. And this is where I would lay that out to her. Lay that out to her. Say, you didn't have the balls to do this. You just went off with somebody else. I'm telling you to your face. You're a prick. You're a narcissist. I don't like you. I'm here for the kid. I'm not here for you. We're no longer together. That's it. We're no longer together. Right? If you want me gone, fine. Challenge her for custody, dude. If she wants you gone after that, challenge her for custody. Get yourself out of that situation. It is only a matter of time before your walls break and you go back to exactly how you were again. Therapy is great, but you can't do therapy and continue. You can't sit in the fire and complain it's hot, right? That's what I'm telling you. You can't. Do whatever you need to do to get this kid out of that situation. No problem. I've got no problem with that. But sitting in the fire and complaining this is hot is not going to work. Eventually she'll get through to you. Eventually. That's what they do. Eventually she'll find a chink in the armour. You need to be out of that situation. Okay? I know that sounds harsh. It does, but this person cannot be reasoned with. You need to lay out clear rules. These are the rules now. We are not together, right? I'm assuming you own a house 50-50, because that would be a stupid thing to do with a narcissist, but I'm assuming you've done everything wrong up until now. So I'm assuming you've got a house that's 50-50, right? If that's the case, say, this house is 50% mine. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Okay? We're married. If you want to file for divorce, fine. But I know a friend who's going through divorce right now. It's not like the States, man. It's not like the States over here. Right? She can't just get you out of the house. She can't just get you out of the house. That's not how it works. You can voluntarily leave, no problem. But if you own part of the house, she can't just get rid of you unless you abuse her. Okay? Then don't do that. Right? Don't snap, because then everything falls apart, right? Everything falls apart. What you need to do is set out a clear message to her. Sit her down, say, hey, this is what time it is, okay? Alright? I am now single. And I have the balls to say this to your face. You didn't have the fucking gumption to say it to my face, but I'm saying it to your face. I am now single. I am now fine, but I am living in this house. I'm looking after my child. That's not really mine, but we won't get into that. I'm looking after my child, right? Okay? I'm not trapped here with you. You're trapped here with me. Right? Do the Rorschach thing. You think I'm trapped here with you? No. You're trapped here with me. You're stuck with me now. We're married. You're stuck with me. You can't get rid of me. That's my kid. Because if I left, I'd have to pay for it, even though it's not mine. That's now my kid. Right? Cool. If I need to get him away from you, I will. That's what I'm going to do. If you kick me out, I'm coming for everything you have. I'm coming for your kid. I'm coming for everything you have if you kick me out. I am not going anywhere, right? If that's what you want to do. If you want to stay there, that's what you say. I am not going anywhere. If you try and kick me out, I will fight you. I will fight you with every fibre that I've got. Because now I've got the strength to do that. That's what I'm going to do, right? But for now, I'm staying in this situation. I am single. I will go do whatever the hell I want. Whatever I want, I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Okay? I have the balls to say that to your face. This is over. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not your doormat. I'm not anything about that with you. I'm not with you anymore. You are a stain on my fucking shoe that I can't seem to scrape off. That's what you are to me right now. That's what you are. And that's where this relationship is. I'm handling this situation. Because, dude, the reason why I say that is that forces her into a situation where now she has to either kick you out, or try and kick you out, or get out of the situation herself. Right? Because a narcissist couldn't put up with that. No way. If you take away that power from her, a narcissist couldn't hack it. She's either going to leave, or, you know, do whatever she's going to do. If you want to carry on doing what you're doing, I fully support you. That's what I would do in this situation. Doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. It's what I would do in the situation, right? But fuck, man. You can't be in that situation. You cannot sit in the fire and say, it's really hot in here. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You know what to do, right? Now, I'm going to say something else. That's what you're going to do if you're staying. If you're determined to stay, that's what you do. Now, and if I was determined to stay, that's what I would do. Do you know what I would do, though? And this is going to sound cold. This is going to sound cold. That's not my kid. Right? I know that sounds cold. That's not my kid, though. Depends how much time has gone past. If it's like 1 or 2 years ago, yeah, that's not my kid. I'm a stepdad. I'm a stepdad, and I can leave any time because I'm a stepdad. Right? That's it. That's it. Like this relationship is over because you fuck my brain. You fuck my brain. Okay? And if I stay in this, I'm going to do something stupid. So I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. That's what I would do. This is me honestly now. This is North. This is what I would do. Right? If you're going to stay, I've told you what I would do if I was forced to stay in the situation. Like, if you've been with this woman for a long time and the kid is now grown up to, like, he's now 9, 10 and calls you dad, yeah. If you have to stay, that's what I would do. The thing that I just said, right? Call the relationship off and stay in the situation for the kid's sake. But look, tell her what time it is. You will not be fucking tolerating that shit anymore. That's what I would do. You're now on my time. Again, I'm not stuck here with you. You're stuck here with me. All right? That's how it works from now on, right? Because you've ruined enough of my life. Thank you very much. That's what I would do. But if this was a 2-year-old or earlier than that, dude, like, you know, you got to make a choice. You got to make a choice. It's either you stay there with a kid that's not yours, right? Which was conceived with a guy who was cheating on you, with a woman who's cheating with another guy, right? You either stay there and you sit in it and you accept to be the victim of a narcissist for the rest of your life, or you leave. Okay? I wouldn't be in this situation after a couple of years. I would do whatever I could for the kid. I would try and if it was within my power, I would try and get them away from the mother. You know? I'll try and do that, but at the end of the day, dude, I'm really sorry you got into this situation because there are no good answers here. There is no... You're going to feel shitty whatever you do, right? But I would rather feel shitty and then be able to rebuild my life. I would rather jump out of the fire instead of sitting there saying it's hot, right? I would rather jump out of the fire. I didn't conceive that child. I didn't do that. Okay? I didn't go away and jump on a few dicks. She did that. Okay? And even though... And here's the other thing, man. Here's the other thing. Here's the last thing I'm going to leave you with. I've known quite a few female narcissists in my time. Some of them have been amazing mothers. Right? Some of them have been that way with their men. That's just how they are. But they've been amazing mothers. You know? So, I'm not privy to that situation. I don't know how she treats the kid. But, dude, you know what I mean? If she's treating the kid in any way of a normal way, get out of that situation. If she's breaking the kid's brain down and they're a bit older, yeah, okay, I can see why you stay, and I would probably stay as well. Because at that point, I'm made to stay. I can't leave. I can't leave the kid to be mentally abused by somebody. I can't, right? I don't think anyone could, right? Even if it's not mine. I don't think anyone could. But if the kid is very young, and she's a good mother, but is just a terrible, terrible, terrible person to you, fucking leave. Leave. Get out. Don't sit in the fire and complain it's hot. Okay? And if you have to stay, I would read her the riot act. Alright, I'm staying. This is how it is from now on. This is how it is. Right? I'm fixed now. You can't control me. This is how it is. I am now single. We are married, but I am single. I will do whatever the fuck I want, with whoever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want. I will pay for you, I will pay for your child, I will pay for this house, but I am not putting up with you. So you can stay, or you can go. But again, I'll say it for the final time, I am not stuck here with you, you are stuck here with me. That's what I would do, if I was made to stay. Because that's the only thing that could salvage any sort of mental, of mental armor for you. Because this person will find a way in eventually. I firmly believe in your strength, mate. I do. But that as you just said, that doesn't always count for much with these people. They find a way in. And if she's that bad, I don't put it past her to start using the kid against you as well. Okay? Again, if this was too heavy for people, I apologise. But it is what it is, right? Final thoughts. Final thoughts of advice. Listen. Again, if you have to stay because the kid's too old or she's an abusive mother, then, okay, what I would do is read her the riot act and let her know what time it is and move on from there. That's what I would do if it was me, okay? I don't know all the ins and outs of your situation. I'm not a fly on the wall. But if from the information you've given me, that's what I would do, right? Read her the riot act, tell her what time it is, tell her you're going to do whatever the fuck you want to do, and that she's not getting rid of you, and that you will care for that kid till your dying breath, alright? Good, right. If the kid's young enough, and she seems like an okay mother, she's just horrible to you, get the fuck out of there. That's my honest advice. That is the A1 situation. If you get an inkling that she's a good mother and she's not treating the kid in the same way, no matter what age they are, fucking leave. Get out of this situation. The kid's not yours. Okay? Alright. Okay, good. That's my advice. 1, 2. You've got 2 options for me, if what I would do. Okay? And take from that what you want. Take from that what you want. But you don't need to... You don't need me. You seem strong enough. You can go and figure it yourself. But that's what I would do. I would either stay. I'd either stay with her, but read her the riot act. Let her know what time it is. Let her know what's going on. And stay for the kid if she's an abusive mother. Or if the kid's too old and sees you with daddy now. Okay, you can't just rip that away from them. It just is what it is. Men say it's easy to do until they've had kids. Right? I'll freely admit, right, earlier on in my kid's life, I was like, I can't do this, right? I can't do this. Until I started going around, and I started actually caring for her and seeing her, and now you can't, that's it, I'm done, right? I'm like, yeah, you claw me out, you're gonna have to claw me out of here with my fingernails scraping gouges in the floor to get me away, So yeah, it's not that easy, right? It isn't that easy. Okay, I tried, but I can't. With my kids there, and it's heartbreaking to not be able to see them. And still now, I fight to get access, and I fight to try and see her, and to try and have fun and do things and be a dad, and I get that denied to me quite a lot. It just is what it is. I don't have any power in the situation. I wasn't married when we fell pregnant, right? I don't have any power. Still got to pay. But I'm not entitled to access, right? I've got to work at it and make sure that I'm being very diplomatic. So, from someone who is in that situation, who wouldn't give up my kid for the life of me, even I'm telling you, if you can get out of here with your conscience intact, leave. Leave. Sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional. Sorry. If you can get out of here with your conscience intact, leave. Okay? That's what I would do. And that's the hardest bit of advice I've ever been able to give, that. if you can get out of here with your brain intact, conscience, like the kid's gonna be okay, is gonna, because narcissists, sometimes it doesn't cross over to the kids, man. Sometimes they're good parents. I know it's weird, but it just is what it is. So, if you can get away with your conscience intact, go. Right? If you can't, stay, but tell her what fucking time it is. That's my advice. Alright? Alright. Oh, that was a heavy one. I love you all a long time, and I hope that you're not in this situation, and if you are, I really do hope that this video did a lot for you and allow you to saw the light in a few ways. And I'm sorry the first parts of my advice were me being very charged with emotion, and what you heard there was me talking about my advice and sort of getting it right in my own head as I talk it through. So it was really harsh at the start, and I think you've noticed there, it was really harsh at the start, and then eventually it came down to a more stable, okay, this is the plan, right? That's how my mind works. So I'm sorry if you got offended at the start that I was just railing on this woman and telling him to get away from a kid, that it wasn't his and stuff. But that's frustration more than anything, right? But after that, those are my 2 pieces of advice, okay? Right, awesome. I love you all. Please, if you're in this situation, reach out to a therapist, reach out to me, reach out to the Discord. We do have therapists in the Discord, right? And if somebody is really, really up against it, they do step in and pass you their details. Alright? Seen it happen. Just come onto the Discord, have some fun, have a little chat to us. I'm talking to a guy in Liverpool right now who is a phenomenal therapist. Currently does a lot of work with nerds because he's a nerd himself. So I'm trying to get him to come onto the channel and give me his stuff. He's currently snowed under with applications to be for clients right now. But I'm trying to get him to come on and pass his details around. He says he's going to do it in the next couple of months, so hopefully that'll mean we've got an official guy on the channel who's really good and is an actual therapist, and he can make some money as well by, he charges for his sessions like everyone does. Right, love you all. I'll speak to you later. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and yeah, have a good one. See you later. Bye now. Bye.